But really, it's that man in our picture, Erling Haaland, that just didn't get the opening that he really, really needs.
So at half-time at Molineux, despite not having had a shot on target in the match, Wolves lead through an own goal by Ruben Diaz. City have been dominant, they haven't fashioned too many clear-cut openings, and so not for the first time this season, they have to come from behind. It's Wolves 1, City 0. Well, let's go back to the studio. I don't think anybody predicted that Wolves would even score, but that is the situation we're in. Natalie.
Welcome back to Matchday Live. I'm still in the studio with Keith Curle, Mick McCarthy and Joleon Lescott. So City losing 1-0 at half-time, but no need to panic blues. Of course, the statistics, as they always do, 69% of possession in that first half for City, 13 shots, 2 on target. That's against Wolves' no shots on target, of course, their goal coming from a Ruben Diaz own goal. So no need to panic. Keith, what did you make of that first half?
Going by the stats, comfortable in possession, lots of possession, not creating clear-cut opportunities. The goal, disappointed with the defending for the goal. I think he's made an attempt to strike for the ball when there's no need to. I think if he just stays on his feet, shepherd him down the touchline. By that time, everybody will be back in behind the ball. So something there that. For Aki to look at as well as decision making. And I think we praised him before the game about making good decisions, defenders making good decisions on that particular occasion. I think it was the wrong decision. Yeah, so we're creating a lot. We've got good possession of the ball, not creating enough clear-cut opportunities. But you've got to say, Wolves, 10 men behind the ball, 2 banks of 5. They're trying to deny those spaces that the City want to work in.
And their goal came from Neto, who, of course, we talked about before the game as well, Mick. He's running down the side there, as Keith was just mentioning, in terms of Ake and Diaz, from a defender's point of view as well. What do you think should have happened there? Well,
I always thought that Pep's rules were, 5 passes or 5 seconds, you nail them, you bring them down. And I think Ake went to do it because he realised how quick he was. I don't think he was going to keep up with him, so he tried to make his tackle. But if he makes his tackle, I think he should foul him. I know it's professionalism and it's frowned upon at times, but that's what you do. They're professional footballers. And so it was a bad decision that he made, as Keith was saying. But when it comes in, there's nothing he can do about it. Diaz, he's got his arms behind his back so he doesn't give a penalty, or he slides it, goes in off his foot. But I think Wolves have been... If I'm that manager at Wolves team, I'd be delighted with that performance. Because Manchester City, they keep saying they dominated it. All they're doing is dominating possession. They've not had great chances. The keeper's not been diving all over, making saves. And I actually say, I think Wolves have been excellent on the break. They've caused them problems.
Joleon, what do you make of the first half?
Yeah, the same. I think it probably would have went as both managers would have expected in terms of possession and the type of game it's gone. I think the chances that Wolves have created, I think they would have anticipated that. They've got some good ball carriers, and it's important now we recognise how they're playing, because Mick spoke about it before the game, that I don't know how many times this season they've played 5 or 3 at the back, but it seems to be working today. Nullifying the threat out wide with Doku, but when they do get forward, they're committing players forward and obviously getting some joy. But yeah, I think it's still a long way to go, and yeah, I think if City have similar possession stats second half, they'll create more clear-cut chances.
Yeah, not too many clear-cut chances, not too many big incidents to talk about either from that first half. I think towards the end of the half, we all got a bit frustrated, Mick, with that challenge by Hwang with just a minute or so to go. I think we all felt that should have been a second booking.
Yeah, I said straight away, because the commentator said, if it's his first booking, that's the first thing I said, if it's his first challenge and he hasn't been booked, he gets booked for that. So what's the difference? Is it sympathy vote? And I don't want to see players get sent off, because I love a tackle and people doing it, but he'd actually missed the ball, and it was out of frustration, I think, because he'd had a chance to score, and when it got blocked off, he's just tackled Walker, and it was a bad tackle, it was a booking, and he should be off.
There's been a lot of cards in that first half as well, Keith. I never like to pick on referees. I think we need to get behind them, we need to support them, but there seemed like there was a lot of cards in that first half, and it didn't feel like it was that sort of game. But in terms of City for the second half, what can we do differently, or is it a case of patience?
Again, I don't think it'd be wholesale change. I don't think there's a need to make substitutions. I think we just seem half a yard slower in the final third, half a yard in the support, getting the ball quicker, that support into Haaland. So again, you can tell the way the City playing. They have that little bounce ball, which is intended to disrupt the defence's positions and then allow other people to come and work in that space that people, when they track them out of there. We just need to be a little bit quicker, a little bit sharper with our movement, and also then with that ball into Haaland.
And like Mick said, Joleon, of course, I'm sure Wolves will be absolutely delighted with how they handled that first half. What do you think in terms of the second half? Do anything we need to do differently? Sometimes for me, when I say don't panic, I often feel like it means just when we get one, then we're going to fly.
Hopefully that's the case. Listen, who am I to question Pep's tactics? But I think if we had two players occupying their backline rather than just Haaland, I think it gives more questions for their centre halves, because at the moment the fullbacks or the wing backs are going to close down Doku and Phil when he's wide, but then this outside centre halves can go and double up because there's no one inside them anyway. So I think if there's two strikers up there, I think they would have to narrow off and then it maybe create more space.
Do you think they might play Doku on the right?
Maybe because he's not getting much joy.
Well, I'm not saying that he's been a little bit predictable because he's always coming back on his right. Yeah. I'm saying, well, go on the outside. There's nothing worse if you're a defender and you're camped in when the opposition get down the back of you, because then it's a lottery, because then you all drop and then it creates that spaces on the penalty spot. So maybe a tactical one might be play him on the right hand side and get him to go down the outside because it opens up.
Because he has got past Semedo a couple of times, like half a yard, and he only needs that, but because it's his left foot, the quality isn't the same. When if he gets half a yard on the right hand side, maybe.
I think Haaland's been isolated though. And even when they get it into his feet, there's nobody around him. I thought Dawson has been outstanding up against him. He's, as we said before, how would you do it? You bump him, he's right up against him, he knows he's got two other guys alongside him, so anything that's flicked, he can actually, he's designated to go and do that, and he has been outstanding, Dawson. Now whether they get somebody else in and around him, playing him behind him, and causing more problems, he said, or two up front, or like I said, you don't question Pep's decision. And you talked, Natalie said about don't panic. He's the best at not panicking. He keeps doing the same thing because the same thing has produced him results. And then when he recognises it's not, he's bright enough, he's clever enough, he's the best coach, one of the best coaches in the world, to change it when he sees it needs doing.
Yeah, you have to look at players that have had a great 45 minutes against us. So you highlight Dawson there, and you wonder, can they do that for 90 minutes? Because to stop Haaland, they need to do it for every second of every minute. Absolutely,
they've got to keep doing it. If you go in at half time, you sit down, you go like that. Well, I've got a fag on because he's not had a kick, and I've been playing well. What you have to understand is that Haaland's in the other thing, probably beating himself up, thinking, I'm going to go out there and smash him this second half. So. And you've got to do it. It's every single second of every game. Go to sleep once and Manchester City will do you.
Absolutely. Thank you for all your WhatsApp questions, by the way. You've sent in loads again, so I really appreciate it. I'll try and get through some of them now. So Carl the Salford Blue has said 3 centre-halves in the studio. Can you tell us which centre-forward gave you the most trouble?
Louis Saha. Yeah, at Fulham. I was at Wolves and he... kind of like what Mick said, we played against him a few weeks before and done well and thought it was going to be a similar outcome. He'd scored in a few games in the build-up to that game, kept a clean sheet, done well, and then went into the following game thinking it was going to be the same, and it weren't the same. They won 3-0, and to be fair, it was the biggest wake-up call. It made me realise there was another level to my game that needed to be operated on, so helpful.
Worked out well in the long run for you. Yeah. Good. Mick?
Ruud Gullit in the European Championships, he was quicker than me. Here again, he's quicker than me, he was bigger than me. I thought he held me off. I tried to tackle him, I tried to get close to him, and I thought, well, I hope they take a goal kick at some stage. I can go and head the ball because I'll beat him in the air. And I jumped behind him to head it, and there was all these dreadlocks in my face, and when I landed he caught it on his chest. I thought, no, I couldn't even. He jumped in front of me, he caught it here. And then they used to rotate, the Dutch, so they'd spin. So he goes and plays out wide up against Chris Hughton, and he never give him a kick. And I can't remember the fellow who came in here because I didn't give him a kick. But Gullit was magnificent. He was just amazing.
Wow. Good one. Okay, Keith?
Well, that's a big name, isn't it?
Yeah, that is.
I think domestically, it was... I've got a player that was a natural goal scorer that I didn't like playing against because he would never come and play up against me. He always wanted to go and play, find spaces and go and play. But as a one-off for 45 minutes, I played for the Premier League against the Italian Serie A one, Marco van Basten. 6 foot.
Sorry, Mick.
Sorry,
Yeah.
mine was. Hold on, let me just pick that one up. Mine was a big name, was it? Oh, go on.
6'3", 6'4", physical, mobile, aggressive, and for 45 minutes you're thinking, how can I stop him? Because he could match me for pace. Physically, he was bigger and stronger than myself, so you're thinking, I'm not going to have a tear up with him. Great touch, great ball finish, and he could finish. So for 45 minutes, that ain't a bad name.
He was playing alongside Ruud Gullit. How do you think that felt?
Yeah, pass him on.
No offence to Louis Saha, but do you want to try and go again?
No, I don't want to go again. Tapping them names.
Carl, brilliant question. Thank you so much. Right, Chris Mack has said this, Mick.
All right.
6'2", his eyes are blue. Mick, what's your greatest highlight playing for City or Ireland? And that is from Chris, who is in Wicklow in Ireland.
Well, for City, we're scoring against Manchester United, as I did mention. I've mentioned it 3 times, and I'm going to drop that. I only scored about 15 goals, and I've mentioned that 4 times. So that's certainly, because we drew 1 over them that day. And for Ireland, is being the captain in the quarter-final. And although we lost to Italy, Schillaci, the little so-and-so, it's strange, isn't it, when you lose? But that's the highlight of my career.
Oh, yeah.
Going down that tunnel onto the pitch in the quarter-final of a World Cup.
Italia 90?
Italia 90, yeah.
First World Cup.
I'm the captain of the team walking out with the armband on in that game. And yet, despite we lost it, it's the best game I've ever played in. You wouldn't say that about a game that you've lost, but that's the pinnacle. It's the height ever. Never thought I'd get anywhere near it.
You remember sitting watching that? What do you mean?
No, I didn't watch yeah, I was with the VHS.
We're on your dad's knee watching it.
Yeah, the video, watched it after. I didn't watch it at the time.
Up.
Yeah. Only because I remember Schillaci was top goal scorer that tournament.
Oh, he was unbelievable, yeah.
6 goals in my first World Cup.
Yeah, we had a bit of a run in me and Schillaci, and he gave me all that. We went, so I think the old mafia were going to get me afterwards.
Thank you so much, Chris Mack. I'll try and squeeze another one in yet. I don't think the players are in the tunnel quite yet. This is a great question from Griff, though. I like this. What are your thoughts when De Bruyne comes back from injury? Will Alvarez stay playing through the middle or pushed out wide or back to the bench? What do you think?
What do I think? Again, I think it's going to be a slow return, and I think he will be integrated back into the team. So, again, your strongest team has got Kevin De Bruyne in it. Where? I don't know.
I think all of the above. I think Alvarez has proved he can play and be efficient at all the positions he's played, and I think most recently he's operating as a 10 in a different way to we see Kevin De Bruyne do it, but wherever he plays, he's effective. So
when he plays, when he's fit, it's him and 10 others.
Yeah.
So he's magnificent. He really is, you know.
Yeah, but do you think we've gone to this point winning 6 out of 6 without him?
There was a couple of years ago the same happened. It wasn't a case of like this isn't the first time we've played without Kevin De Bruyne. You know what I mean? So we were okay without him as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Mick said and Keith said, when he's fit, he plays.
It's a bit like games like this when Kevin De Bruyne has sort of done something right out of the blue. He's got the ball, he's nicked it off somebody, he's driven forward, he's scored a goal, he's done something. That's, that kind of a player.
Mm.
Well, thank you for your questions again. Brilliant questions. The players are coming out. You can see them now. Wolves players are running out there. We'll be back here with you at full time. Gents, I know no one predicted Wolves to score, but you're still all predicting City to come back and win this one?
Yes.
Well, as I said 2-0, but I wasn't expecting it to be Wolves.
Oh, no!
I said I wasn't expecting it to be Wolves.
He didn't clarify that, though, did he?
Okay. No, he didn't. Is City going to come back?
Oh, there's a spy in the camp.
Yes. Okay. Well, do you know what? I'm predicting City are going to come back. You know, at this point, I love to say I'll see you at full time, where hopefully Manchester City have had another epic comeback. Get your commentary for the second half now on the Manchester City app with Alistair Mann and with Michael Brown. Thank you, gents. We'll see you at full time.